welcome to Yoga HIIT. Get ready to get breathy and sweaty. So we're coming down in a squat, tapping the floor with those fingers and jumping up high. You can modify this by not doing the jump and just coming down in that squat and reaching up towards the ceiling. So nice big reach over with that gate pose, tummy's tight, breathing through it. So we're going to simply drag that hand across the floor and come up and shoot like you're shooting a basketball. Alternating arms, drag it and shoot. Drag it and shoot. We are hinging forward in a sumo squat, wrapping those arms and wrists around the calves and ankles, breathing through it. Shuffling those feet back and forth with good posture. Deep breaths. Seated on the floor, lean back to engage the core. Legs are lifted up, feet are hovering above the floor and tight together, and arms up overhead in an O position, holding and breathing through it. So this is kind of like a deep sumo squat with a jump, only you're hinging forward as well. To modify this, you can just step out, lean forward, and come up without the jump. So here we are simply in a down dog position, but up on tippy toes rather than pushing those heels down. Chin is tucked into the chest. Breathe deeply. This is just your standard mountain climber. You can modify this by stepping in and out with the right and left leg rather than getting that running motion going. Breathe through it, keep your tummy tight. Side angle reach, so you're just gonna lean over, placing that forearm on the quad and reach over nice and long. Take deep breaths. Keep those palms open. So here we're basically just jumping in a circle, maintaining that squat position. Try to get some air under those feet. To modify this, you can just do regular squats. In this position, you're just going to bend one knee, grab that foot, and reach up towards the ceiling with the opposite hand. Facing forward, breathing deeply. So in this move with open palms, we're just reaching up to the top of the body, right, left, and then coming down about knee level, right, left, and just keep repeating. In this position, feet are a little more than shoulder width apart, and you're just going to take that index finger, hook it around the big toe, and try to keep the knees locked out for a big stretch in those hamstrings. This next move is just like a regular jumping jack, but with open palms pushing up towards the ceiling with bent wrists. To modify this, you can step in and out with those right legs rather than jumping. This next move is basically just a deep lunge hold with arms extended straight up to the ceiling. Good posture and breathe through it. And back to that squat jump, so you're just going to come down in a squat, tap the floor with your fingers, and jump up tall. Again, to modify this, squat down, touch the floor, and just reach towards the ceiling without the jump. And we're back to gate pose. Make sure you're doing opposite side of the body, this time down on one knee, leaning over to one side. Nice tight tummy, deep breath. And back to drag and jump. So you're just going to drag that hand across the floor and hop up like you're shooting a basketball, right to left. Nice deep breaths. Ankle wrap hold. You're going to hinge forward in a sumo squat position, wrapping that forearm around calves and ankles. Holding. Nice deep breath. And we're back to that shuffle in place move, so just right, left with those feet, good posture, breathe through it. So again, we're on the floor, leaning back to engage the core. Legs are pulled up, feet are tight together, hovering over the floor, arms overhead in an O position, breathing through it. Back to that deep squat, hinged forward, and jump up with legs together. Again, to modify this, just squat nice and deep and come up tall. You don't have to do the jump. And back to that typical downward dog pose, but on tippy toes. So tuck that chin into the chest and breathe deeply. And into those mountain climbers, so just gonna hop in a running type motion, moving those legs right and left, in and out. To modify this, you can step in and out rather than doing that jogging motion. Back to the side angle reach, but this time make sure you're doing it in the opposite direction. You're just gonna lay that forearm on the quad and reach over with the opposite arm. Tight tummy and deep breaths. And back to those jumping squats. So we stay in that squat position as we hop in circles. Deep breaths. Dancer pose. This time bend that opposite knee, reaching for the foot and reaching up with opposite arm. Tummy stays tight, head is neutral, so straight forward and deep breaths. All right, legs apart, nice and wide, toes out. Open palms, we're gonna take it right, left above the body, and then right, left about knee level. Keep it going. So back to that toe hook stretch. Feet are more than shoulder width apart. Wrap that index finger around the big toe and lock those knees out for a big stretch in the hamstrings. Tuck the chin in and breathe through it. All right, just like a regular jumping jack, but palms open with wrists hinged, like you're pushing up the sky as you open those legs in and out. To modify this, just step in and out rather than doing the jumping. All right, deep lunge, but with opposite leg forward this time, arms up, reaching towards the sky, head is neutral, so straight forward. Keep that tummy tight and breathe deeply. And thanks for joining me for Yoga HIIT.